Evening, everybody. I hope you're well. I thought I'd do a late night show tonight. There's been so much stuff. And also, if you want to call in, feel free. I've also put a goal up as well. If I get 5 super chats, I'll do a Q&A show where you can just ask me loads of questions, whatever you want. It can be football, it can be music, it can be conspiracy stuff, whatever you want. I'm all up for that. So let me know. If you haven't hit the like, subscribe, please do. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Yeah, I have been watching him. There's a couple of other players I've been watching as well. It's been quite wild. Like some of the stuff that's come out over the last couple of days since the Trent announcement from Europe is been quite mind blowing, if I'm honest. It's like there was no information about transfers or players that we were linked with or players that we tried to sign or communications with anybody. It's like everything was completely quiet, and then the Trent stuff comes out, and then the floodgates open. Like literally the floodgates open. Like some of the stuff that's come out over the last couple of days is incredible. And I mean, I don't know whether it's a case of just trying to flood the media, trying to like push the Trent stuff to the sideline, trying to maybe get the fans more excited about incomings than actual outgoings, which could potentially be Trent. It could potentially be Salah. It could be Virgil. It could be Elliot. It could be Canate. It could be Bradley right now. It could be Cody Gakpo. Like I've got so much stuff to talk about. It's quite crazy. It could be a Trent U-turn. You're absolutely right. Are you alluding to the Mo Salah video, James? Because the Mo Salah video kind of hints a little bit about maybe something's going on behind the scenes with Trent that we don't know about, and he's still not 100% convinced. There's also stuff around the fact that he's not even going to go as a right back. Like he could well be playing as a midfielder for Real Madrid, which is insane because he's only played a few games for Liverpool and he was garbage as a midfielder. And for England, he wasn't any good either. So it's quite a crazy one that they're going to throw him into midfield. But it would be a case of, you know, the defensive midfielders for Real Madrid, like Camavinga and Valverde, basically just covering for him while him and Jude go and, I don't know, go and do what they do. Like, whatever they do, they'll do. I think that's quite interesting. I've got quite a few things I wanted to cover. So, I mean, obviously the Trent thing, I've kind of talked about it on so many channels now that I don't think we really need to cover that anymore. If he goes, he goes. If he stays, he's going to be probably the highest paid Englishman in the Premier League. If he goes, there's rumours that he's only going to get 140k. By the way, that's been released from Spanish media, so it certainly wasn't about the money. But I do know that Real Madrid give big bonuses, so it could be a case of that. Quite frankly, I'm fed up of hearing about it now. There's a couple of things which have come out recently since that was talked about, and it looks like we've tried to negotiate a contract extension for Conor Bradley, and he's turned it down, which makes a lot of sense, to be fair, because he doesn't know whether he's going to be first choice. Like for him to turn around and go, okay, I'm going to sign a new contract, and then we tied him down for 5-6 years, and then we go and sign a right back, and then Conor Bradley's kind of stuck as a stuck as second choice, it doesn't bode well for him. And especially the fact that we are linked with a couple of right backs in Frimpong, Giovanni Reid, Martin Fernandez. We are linked with right backs. So, and also Jules Koundé as well. So it's a case of that's not really fair on Bradley if we tie him down to a 5-year contract, 6-year contracts, and then he gets plonked in second choice again, which is he currently is at the moment to Trent. So it kind of makes sense that his agent has pushed that back and said, let's wait and see what happens. He's only got a 2-year contract. He's only got 2 years left on his contract. There's a number of players which only have 2 years left on their contracts, which is a big concern, if I'm honest. And that's the likes of Canate as well. We need to kind of get that one sorted out. Curtis Jones has only got 2 years left as well. Harvey Elliott's only got 2 years left. And then the likes of Alisson's only got 2 years left as well. Those things need to get sorted out. It seems like all we're doing is talking about contracts at Liverpool. And unfortunately, that's down to the previous regime. Like, I'm not blaming Edwards and Hughes for this one. This one sits solely on the shoulders of Jurgen, and FSG gave him way too much power. He then pushed Edwards out. Edwards then left, and then all the contracts and stuff just kind of fell to pieces, if I'm honest. Like, Edwards got a load of 6-year contracts tied down with Julian Ward before he left. But then after that, nothing got done. Like, nobody re-signed contracts once Edwards left. Like, it was like he did this big raft of 6-year contracts with Robbo and Virgil and Ali, and there was a couple of others as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. All got these 6 years tied down. Trent did a 4, and then nobody did anything. Like, just left it. Like, they were all just running them down. Like it's just wild that was allowed to happen, but it was. And then we obviously got Mo. We obviously got Mo on a extension while he was on holiday, and that was kind of like that wasn't anything to do with Edwards. That was Julian Ward flying out to wherever Mo was, but that was kind of a panic stations. But nothing's been managed in the club like over the last couple of years. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. But we are where we are. I mean, Canate might only have 1, but I think it's 2. I think it's 2. I think it could be 2. I don't know now. I need to look. Like, I'm confused myself now. But if he doesn't sign, then he'll be sold. Like, Edwards ain't letting guys walk out the door anymore. Like, this will be Trent leaving will be a cruel reminder of, if you don't sort your in-house stuff out properly with contracts and the admin side of things, then you're going to let your best players walk out the door. And quite frankly, we had Oxlade-Chamberlain, Bobby Firmino, James Milner, Naby Keita. All these guys just walked out the door. And if that was on Edwards' watch, they'd have all been sold. We'd have moved heaven and earth to get rid of Ox and Keita, and maybe not Milner, but we'd have moved heaven and earth to get those guys out the door. And it wouldn't have been a case of, Mane only had 1 year left on his deal, which means we could only sell him for like 30 million. Like, that's criminal. Like, that should never have happened. Like, Mane should have gone the year before for like 60, 70 million. Bobby should have gone. Bobby should have gone when he was when he turned 30. He could have gone to Saudi Arabia for a lot more money instead of just leaving on a free. Like, absolutely criminal how the club's been ran over the years. But now we've got the adults back. First thing they did is they got Quansah tied down. And it also looks like we got an extension on Bradley, but I thought Bradley was more than 2 years, but apparently it was. And I just think it's criminal that we're doing stuff like that back then. But now it looks like we're trying to get things sorted. But there's so much more to do, and there's so much work to do. Like, we're going to romp the league this season and get to a cup final, and also get to the last 16 of the Champions League, knocked out by potentially the winners. Like, PSG could easily win it. Like, they're a really good team. Knocked out on penalties. Unfortunately, that's what it is. And we're sat here talking about there's 5 or 6 players that we'd be fine with leaving. Like, that's just wild. It's wild that there's 5 or 6 players that we're more than happy to see the back of at Liverpool, and some of them in the first team, and we've still done this well. There's major surgery that's going to happen next season. Major surgery. And I just think it's an accumulation of the last 3-4 years of just taking things for granted and giving power to someone who clearly hasn't got the skills to do that job. Like, unfortunately, like, it looks like Jurgen was maybe auditioning for the role that he was going to do when he went to the Red Bull Sporting Group. Who leaving Liverpool to retire, to then 6 months later take a job with Red Bull, who is the arch enemy of Dortmund, is quite weird in itself. And for him to now be linked with Real Madrid makes a lot of sense, that this guy's been playing us for years. He's been playing us for years. Like a fiddle, like a violin. Like, he's been playing us for so long. The fact that 4 years ago he was negotiating with Red Bull, which we know about, and he re-signed a new contract with us. He re-signed a new contract with us because the Red Bull job wasn't available. That's what it looks like. That's really what it looks like. And we threw bags of money at him. And that's a really interesting one. Like, if he goes to Real Madrid, then we see his true colours. We see his true colours. Like, we see the fact that, oh, yeah, well, there's a good chance that maybe Trent ran his contract down because he knew Jurgen was going to Real Madrid. Like, I could see Jurgen going to Real Madrid. Like, absolutely. He's a world-class manager. Like, I can absolutely see that. I'll get you on in a sec, Paul, okay? I could absolutely see that he could go to Real Madrid. Like, he's an elite manager, and Real Madrid take elite managers, and he could absolutely go and do that job. I've got no doubt about it. But if he takes Trent and Mo and Virgil there, and then comes knocking for Canate and potentially McAllister in like a year or two's time, then he's dead to me. He's dead to me, because he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. I'm going to Paul on now. Easy, Paul. How you doing, mate?
Are you doing all right, mate?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
How's your day going?
We're not going to argue.
There might be some disagreement. I think until Klopp actually ends up at Real Madrid, I think it might be a little bit of a conspiracy theory.
I think it's a good one, though.
It's a possibility, yeah. There is a grain of truth from every conspiracy theory.
I mean, do you think Alonso's good enough for Real Madrid? All honesty.
I think he needs another 2 years before he goes there,
mate.
personally.
Do you think Jurgen's good enough for Real Madrid?
Yeah, it's too soon for my thing.
But I mean, Jurgen could walk into Real Madrid, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's been found out this season. He's found this season a lot more challenging.
I think they're only 3 points behind Bayern, you know. So they're not dead and buried, which I thought they were, to be fair, but they're actually not as far behind as people think.
that's true. They can still actually overhaul Bayern. Get
Yeah,
mixed
they've
with
gone on a bit
Barca.
of a resurgence at the moment, like in being winning
Yeah,
back-to-back games. Like, yeah,
yeah. I mean, what do you think of this multi-club thing?
I think it's a great idea, to be honest. I think it's probably the
I got
reason
no
why
problem
we
with it at
haven't
all,
been.
actually. Yeah,
It's the reason why we haven't been getting these foreigners because we just haven't had
yeah,
anywhere to send them. Like, didn't we
yeah.
try stuff like that and we ended up not being able to get work permits on loads of players,
There
and
was
then they
loads of
just
players we couldn't get work permits for. Yeah,
and they were just on loan
loads.
forever, and then we ended up just losing them.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I think it's a good
I
idea.
remember that Brazil. I remember that Nigerian player who's now at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
We couldn't get,
yeah,
and there was a Brazilian player,
Alan.
if I remember right. Someone called Alan.
Yeah, Alan. Yeah,
Yeah, he would have been a good player for us actually, but we couldn't sort of push
he's
through the
linked.
work permit.
He's linked with a couple of Premier League clubs, by the way.
He's out.
Alan.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's only like 24, 25 still. Like,
Oh my
but he's
lord,
linked
he's
with a
still
few
around.
Premier League clubs.
I thought you were playing in some kind of third division league somewhere in
No,
Spain or Germany or something like that.
no,
But, yeah.
he's playing in Brazil for I can't remember what team, Flamengo or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's a list of clubs they were looking at. They're looking at Eche. They were looking at Getafe,
yeah, makes sense.
um,
Makes sense.
Espanyol.
You know,
And they're looking at,
Malaga's a decent club. Like, you know, they've
yeah,
got
it is. It's
some
got a bit
really
of,
good players who come from there as well. You know,
yeah. As long
some
as they've got a good academy, that I wouldn't mind at all. Then we can
no,
nix all their academy.
there's been some really good players that have come from their academy. I can't remember some of them off
Yeah,
the top of my head.
I think Isco come from there as well. I think.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah, and a few others as well.
Yeah.
And also looking at a few South American clubs. I mean, I would love them to get Boca Juniors or River Plate. Two clubs I would love them to
I
get.
can't remember the one we were looking at. Was it Vittoria or something like that? No, it's a really famous Argentinian club. But we looked at it, but
Um,
the repairs we would have had to do were like
yeah,
would have cost like quite a lot of money. And you
yeah,
know what they're like, mate. It's all about money, isn't it?
yeah.
It's all
I'm
about
guessing we're competing. I'm guessing we're competing with to get control of Malaga, PSG.
yeah, I think that's going to be a difficult one. That you know,
That could be a difficult one. Yeah, depending. Yeah, fingers crossed. Because FSG don't like to spend money. They
nah,
so they
nah.
say it, but they don't.
That's the reason why we that's the reason why we didn't go in for was it
Although,
Bordeaux? Was it Bordeaux?
yeah, it was Bordeaux. Yeah,
Yeah, because it was too much money to
it
pay the
was.
council.
It cost of, and
So
plus
it's
that's significant.
Racing Club is the
Yeah.
one that we looked at in
Oh,
Argentina.
that would have been a good purchase. That would have been.
It would have been a good
Also, there was
purchase.
one in Brazil which we lost out on to, of course, a Brazilian consortium. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
was São Paulo.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think it was either São Paulo or Corinthians. I don't know which one it was. That would have been a good little purchase. That would have been. But until they actually get a club on the books, and I'm skeptical. To be honest, I'd love to see them do it, but it
They
seems to
did
be still.
was it Paolo Bento? Was it Paolo Bento?
It was a guy called I can't remember his frigging name now.
They hired him for the second, basically to do the hunting for the second
It was
club.
a guy from Benfica.
Yeah.
I'll get his name down somewhere.
Are you looking or shall I?
Marquez.
Marquez. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Marquez. I can't remember
So
his Christian name, but it's
so they've gone the extra yard to get the people to do the job. We just need
yeah.
to
Okay.
you know, do the job
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, I've been saying in the chat for a long time that he should swap places with Richard Hughes personally. He should be our director of football, not Richard
Yeah.
Hughes. Because he seems to be more clued up and has the pedigree and the experience to be our head of to be our sporting director far more than Richard Hughes does.
I mean, like, okay, so if we just break it down, yeah, he came in, yeah,
Yeah,
his initial job was basically to to get the staff in. Yeah, so he's done that. He's got everyone Slot wanted. Like, I think that maybe one more person's probably got to come in. He's probably set piece coach, if I'm honest, because we've been crap with set pieces. But he's got that bit done. He got rid of quite a lot of deadwood. He got rid of quite a lot of youngsters that weren't up to the plate. Like, you know, Slot clearly didn't rate them, so he got rid of those. Got some really good money for them, and sent a few players out on loan. And he got in Chiesa, which is probably down to him, to be honest, because he knew he was cheap and he's got Italian contacts. So that kind of made sense. And they obviously future-proofed Ali with Mamadashvili. But then there's also like stuff that's come out that we bid 100 million for Alvarez, and we bid 100 million for Kvaratskhelia. Like, and then we obviously went to try and get Zubamendi. Like, these are top players.
Yeah.
And
I don't think we needed to get the goalkeeper there, my personal thing.
I didn't think we needed to get the goalkeeper either. I think that's just a case of this guy's 25 million. Like, he could potentially be one of the best in the world. Like why would you not?
Yes,
like,
or he could be an absolute flop.
Like, Ramsdale was more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Arsenal paid that. Like, so I think Arsenal paid 30, didn't he, for Ramsdale? So it's like, you know, the Chelsea kid was like 70 million. Like, you know, when they bought him from Spain. So it's like, is it that much of a
loss? If he flops, it's not going to be much of a loss, is it really?
No, and the thing is as well, it felt like that move was supposed to go to Bournemouth to maybe sweeten Bournemouth up for us to maybe take one of their players or two of their players in the future.
Yeah,
like it's that it feels like there's more motives to why we do things than what we see. Like, you know, we see Stefan Bajcetic go to Las Palmas, and you're like, that's a really weird loan. Like, taking him away from Salzburg to then plonk him in the Spanish league in Las Palmas. Why would you do that? And now we found out that the reason we did that is because we were after the guy that was on loan from Sporting at Las Palmas, and we gave them him so we could take him. But Chelsea have gone and got him. The Asubu.
Oh yeah,
Dario Asubu.
Yeah, who Man United also wanted as well.
Yeah, it's like we do things that you go, that's like, why are we doing things like that? But there's actually another reason why we do it, but we don't know, and maybe we find out eventually. It's just like the Kvaratskhelia and the Alvarez thing. We'd have never known that we did both of those things. Like, and that was under Hughes. We'd have never known about that. Like, it's come out now, but there might be more stuff that comes out that we find out about that you're like, really? We tried to sign him? Or, you know, obviously it didn't work, but, you know, would you have done this though? I'll give you like I'll play like devil's advocate. Yeah. Okay. So we bidded 100 million for Alvarez. Yeah. And that's a lot of money for a guy that I don't think a lot of the fan base would have thought was £100 million player. Yeah. But if we'd have got him and he'd have played, we'd have probably then sold Núñez. Yeah. But we weren't willing to give Manchester City Diaz. Like, which is the right decision? Do you think that's the right decision?
I would have done, no problem.
But are we looking at it from, so if you're Liverpool, yeah, and you're the board or whatever, and you're looking at it, you're sat there going, hang on a minute, we're strengthening Manchester City by giving them Diaz if we rate him that highly, and if Manchester City rate him that highly. Like, is that how they're seeing it? They obviously don't care about Alvarez because they want to get rid of him. But then you're giving them a player they want. Are you sat there going, hang on a minute, okay, we don't want him, but you really want him. Now we're not going to give you him, and then you're going to lose Alvarez anyway. Do you think they've thought about it like that?
I think it's possible. but I doubt it.
But it hasn't helped us.
No.
because now we're probably going to spend 140 million on him if we really want him.
I would have got him if that was the actual story that was going around. I would have given him the Diaz no problem. I don't think Diaz. I think Diaz is no better than Dooku, in my personal view.
Fair, that's fair.
Is it Doku? That's it, Doku.
Doku, yeah, Doku.
He's no better than
Grealish. He's no better than Grealish, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't think it would have improved City at all. I think he would have weakened them personally.
Yeah, I talked about that a while ago. Like I said, look, we should take look. If Man City are willing to sell Alvarez, because when I heard the rumours, I'm like, we should 100% take him because we're weakening Manchester City and strengthening ourselves. And we obviously did want him, but we didn't want to give them Diaz.
Mm.
And how that's backfired.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go. I'll let you get someone else on then. If you've got
no. One thing I want to ask you though before you go.
Yeah.
Out of the forwards, who are you happy to sell, and who would you like as replacements?
That's simple. I'll keep Gakpo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep Mo. That's the only ones I'll keep. I would have said Jota, but
you wouldn't keep Mo.
Jota. Huh?
You wouldn't keep Mo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Mo and Cody.
Yeah, Mo and Cody. Yeah.
And all the others you'd sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jota, I would have kept him a couple of months back, but his injury record, he's not hardly fit for most of the season anyway. So,
no.
Yeah. And when he does come back, he takes him a long time to get him up to speed.
He does. And who would you sign? Because so if you're selling Nunez and Diaz, there's 70 million each. Like Saudi may fund our forward line, like for next season, and Jota you probably get 40-50 million.
I've got a few one I would look at.
Come on.
I'll go for Nketiah, whatever his name is, from Frankfurt.
Ekitike, yeah.
And Cunha.
Oh, you like Cunha? Okay, Cunha.
Yeah. There is, you can get them for 60 million or
you get both.
70 million.
You can get both for 60 million.
Rather than spend 115 million or 90 million on Isak, whose injury record's not that great anyway.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I don't think he's played more than 30 games a season.
Yeah. His output's not very good.
He's also got like a weird training regime where he doesn't train with the first team a lot. Did you know that?
Definitely.
So that's an interesting one. You can't train him with the first team a lot because of obviously injuries. Then that would be a mad one. Malcolm, like Sesko is going to cost 80-90 million. I'm telling you, like Leipzig,
Sesko, no chance.
Leipzig are going to want so much money for him. I think he scored like 21 goals in like 30 games this season for them. He's been their go-to guy. I think they'll want 80-90 million for him. And he hasn't got a release clause, by the way.
Yeah. I won't touch him. His finish is not great anyway. I have seen him miss some sitters for Leipzig. Terrible.
It's a gentleman's agreement, apparently. But
keep it.
There's no release clause.
Keep him.
Yeah, I think he's probably 70.
Or let him go to Man United. I don't care. They can have him.
Yeah, they can have him, and then we can get Ekitike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I like that, mate. I like that.
Apparently, I heard some bad news there that Ekitike is a Man United fan when he was growing up. But you can take those stories with a pinch of salt, really. I support this. Yeah.
He's not going to go to Manchester United. Like they need more than that. Like they need more than that.
They do.
They need to learn how to play with wingers for a start.
I mean, they were when what's his name? Ahmad was fit. He was probably their best player until he got injured.
Yeah, he was. I actually think he's a good player. I think he's a good player.
He is. Ahmad's probably their best player by far.
Yeah,
in that forward line.
Yeah,
country mile.
Absolutely.
Anyway, my friend, I'll let you go. And thanks for having me on.
Man. Good to speak to you, mate. All right, see you later.
Pleasure.
Bye, mate.
Take care.
Bye. Big up, Paul. What else have we got? So you take Wissa. He has got 14 goals. I think he's 28 though. He could be 28 going on 29. And I don't know. I'm not particularly sure he'd fit our system. But he's a good player, but I just don't I can't see him going for a 28, 29-year-old. Like, I feel like that's like just not an Edwards type of player. Like, so obviously Paul's just been on. He's just named like a couple of forwards that he'd like at Liverpool. So I just go into a few. Oh, okay. So who would I like at left back? So there's three. There's three players that I'd like at left back, like choices. I'd like my number one pick would be like my number one pick 100% would be Lekeba from Leipzig. 100%. Like, Lekeba would be absolutely sensational. Big up, Sam. Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for the raid. Good to have you in here, gang. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. That'll be wonderful. Lekeba from Leipzig would be a fantastic signing. I know that our committee have looked at him for quite a long time. I mean, they were looking at him when he was in France, but we didn't want to pull the trigger. He went to Leipzig, and he's been unbelievable at Leipzig. Absolutely unbelievable. It's great to have like over 200 in here. Good to see you all. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. He's a left back, and he can also play centre back. I mean, the reason why I will say Lekeba is he's also a left footer, by the way, which is perfect because we haven't got any. I think he'd be brilliant because he's young, he's French. They produce some incredible players. We have a great relationship with Leipzig. We also got Canate from there. We also got Keita from there. We also got Dominic Szoboszlai from there. And he's also got a £70 million release clause, which is a sweet spot. And there's also news coming out of Turkey that they're looking at signing a Turkish defender from Fenerbahce who would replace Lekeba. And who knows? Like, I know we're linked with loads of players, but Lekeba's not been one. Lekeba's not been one that we've been linked with. And is that just not an Edwards type of signing where he just comes in out of the blue? Like, nobody's seen that one coming. 70 million release clause, bang. Turns up at Liverpool. There's your left back. And potentially he can play centre back as well. So you've still got the option of maybe keeping Robbo. Hincapié, another sensational player. Thing about Hincapié though is he's kind of in and out the team. Like, that's the only problem I've got with him. He can be in and out the team. He can also play left back as well, and he also plays centre back. I do think it's probably going to be like a rotational guy like that, just like Hato as well. Like, Hato, about 40 million quid, probably the same as Hincapié. The only thing about Hato, he's only 18, like 19. He's really young, really raw. I don't know whether you could put him in straight away, but he'd expect to play straight away because he's been playing for Ajax for the last 3 years. He's a terrific talent. He really is a terrific talent. I mean, you've also got to look at Dean Huijsen. Like Dean Huijsen is the next one on the block. Like, he's going to be special. He's got a £50 million release clause. our director of football signed him, or probably scouted him for Bournemouth. He's, I think his, yeah, I think I've seen a video of him where he's showing his most cherished football kits, and one of them's Liverpool with Virgil van Dijk, and the other one's Liverpool with Gravenberch. Like, so I don't know what that means, but he's also a big fan of a couple of our players as well. So I don't know. Like, he's Dutch. He was born in Spain, but he's Dutch. He obviously changed to be Spanish, and he's probably going to go to Real Madrid. Let's be honest. Like, he's probably going to go to Real Madrid. And if we did sign him, do you really want a player in 3 years' time that goes, you know what, I want to go to Real Madrid after we've like literally nurtured him and got the best and got him to a stage where he's about to turn world class, and then, 23, 24 years old, he goes, right, I'm off to Real Madrid now, lads, and you're like, seriously? Like, we could have avoided that. So I think we probably just let him go there, and we get our guy, and he's a keeper, so to speak. So the three left backs that I'd be interested in is number 1, Lukebe, number 2, Hato, and number 3, Kerkez. I think Kerkez is brilliant. Really strong, really solid, really fast, really robust. Had 2 really good seasons in the Premier League. I think he's played in Italy as well for AC Milan. He's obviously played in Holland for AK Alkmaar. Another brilliant buy by Bournemouth. I think he'll probably get him for like 40 million, and he's really good mates with Dominic Szoboszlai. That's what you want. Like, you want players that know each other. You want that kind of team that all gets on with each other. No egos, no dickheads. Like, that's what Liverpool's about, and that's the ethos that Liverpool thrives on. You don't have a guy that's not going to help the guy next to them. If he's not playing too well, you back him up. And Kerkez is really good mates with Szoboszlai. I think he'd be great. So I'd go for either 3 of those. There's other players that we've been linked with, but those three I'm absolutely fine with. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah. I think so. There's a couple of other stuff that I wanted to talk about as well. So we were talking about strikers until obviously someone asked me about left backs. So there's a couple of other things that I wanted to cover. So the forwards, it's a real concern for me if we keep any of those 3, as in Núñez, Diaz, and Jota. Like, I've never been a fan of Diaz and Núñez anyway. Jota, I've always been an advocate for Jota, but unfortunately, he's had 2 pretty serious injuries. One was his knee, and one was a punctured lung, broken ribs, which is really unfortunate when the Chelsea guy tossing landed on top of him, and when the Brentford midfielder, just grunt players landed on top of poor little Jota, landed on Jota and his knee went the opposite way. Really unfortunate injuries, and it's just ruined his career now, if I'm honest. He's lost pace. When he plays, he doesn't look confident. It takes him a long time to get back into the groove of how Jota plays, but then he gets injured again, and we can't rely on that. We certainly can't be paying a guy 140,000 a week when we're having major issues with our wage budget, because we don't want to hit the 400 million ceiling, which we've given ourselves. And that's mainly the reason why we offloaded a lot of players like Thiago and Matip and those guys. We took them off the books because they were on huge wages, and we needed to balance some books. And it's the same again. Like, we're going to be heading towards the 400 million a year wage budget mark. So we need to reduce things, and that's why we're doing these things. So for me, I think Jota, Nunes, Diaz could all leave. I think we could potentially get about 190 million, maybe 180 million off those players. If you look at Saudi Arabia, just for example, they pay 70 for Diaz, they pay 70 for Nunes. Jota could get 40, 50 million from a club. Absolutely. So if you can move them out the door, you're potentially giving yourself nearly 200 million to refresh your forward line. And if you're looking at players that you could refresh your forward line with, I don't particularly think we need 3. I think we probably need 2. I don't think Slot needs 6 or 7 forwards like Jurgen did, because I don't think Slot's going to play the same way as Jurgen did. I think he's going to have wingers and not inside forwards. And I think maybe the number 9 or the number 10 could actually be inside forwards. So guys that can play left side, right side, and they play really high like they do under a Klopp team or under other teams in the Premier League or Europe. I think he may cut them inside and put them as a 9 or a 10 and make the wingers be wingers, which we haven't had. Like, Diaz doesn't play as a winger. Cody doesn't play as a winger. Mo doesn't play as a winger. Elliott didn't come in and play as a winger. So we've never had that wing play for a long, long time. We've never had players that can dribble past people. Like, we watch Diaz dribble past people on international duty, and then he comes back to Liverpool and doesn't do it. Like, I'm done with it. Like, there's just no point. Like, move these guys on. And if you're looking at transfer fees, if you could get 180, 200 million, then you could potentially sign 2 really, really good forwards. And if we're left with 4, so if you're left with Salah, Cody, and then potentially 2 other forwards that could maybe hit 30 GA each, you've got 40, 50 GA from Mo. You've got 30 GA from Cody, which he's nearly got this season. And he hasn't played. Yeah, there's the number of games he hasn't played because Diaz at the start of the season. And then you've got the likes of another forward that could maybe hit 30. That's going to get you the league. It's going to win you the league. Like, goals are the jackpot. Like, they're the number one thing that gets you the league. You score more goals than anyone else, you win more games. Just a fact. Like, so if you've got Mo Salah hitting numbers like he normally hits, not this season's been incredible, but if he hit normal numbers, so he got 30 goals and 15 assists next season, that's fantastic. And then you've got your other forward getting 20 goals and 10 assists. Then the next guy, 20 goals, 10 assists, so on and so forth. Then you've got a huge amount of goals, a huge amount of assists, and you can win the league. So selling 3 and buying 2 because they're going to be 2 really good players instead of selling 3 and then buying 3 that aren't fantastic, like they're not top players. And I'm talking like, the likes of, you go and get Alvarez, you go and spend 100 million on Alvarez or 120 million on Alvarez. You go and spend 120 million on Isak. So you go and get a massive marquee signing, and then you buy an Ekitike for 60 million or a Cunha for 60 million or an Oshiman for 50 million. Or you go and get a couple of other players, like you maybe go and get Mohamed Amora for like 25 million. Or you go and get a an Mbuemo for 50 million or a Semenyo for 50 million, then you're going to give yourself goals and assists to add to two quality players that are guaranteed to get 30 GA plus. Mo's going to get you 30 GA plus, and Cody's going to get you 30 GA plus. So you drop another two players in there that are going to get you 15 goals, 15 assists, or 20 goals, 10 goals, but they're going to get you towards that 30 GA mark. And Diaz, Núñez, and Jota just haven't done it. If you just look at 2025, for example, they've scored 4 goals between all 3 of them. I mean, that is just woeful. I think Curtis Jones has scored more goals in 2025 than all 3 of those strikers. And if you can get 180 million for those 3 strikers, then that's an unbelievable bit of business. Because in a year's time, that number's dropped. That number's dropped right down, and Jota will be injured again for another 3 months or so, and he wouldn't be scoring the goals that he scored before. And then you've got the likes of Núñez and Diaz, who, in all honesty, do you really think they're going to get any better? Diaz is going to be 28. Núñez will be 26, and people are still calling him a kid. They're still saying, "Oh, well, he needs time." Well, he needs more than 3 years. Those guys have had enough time. So the 180. So you've got 70 million for Diaz, 70 million for Núñez, and 50 million for Jota, or 40 million for Jota. That's 180 million. That's where the numbers come from. Is he 28 already? Okay, there you go then. I didn't know he's 28 now. Okay, it's even worse. So that's kind of where I sit with that. And if you look at it, then that forward line's sensational. That's got to be the best forward line in Europe. Really? All 4 forwards would be monsters. Cody hitting brilliant numbers, Mo hitting brilliant numbers. Then you add an Isak or an Alvarez, and then you've got an Ekitike or an Oshiman as the 4th. You're going to play 3 of those, 2 or 3 of them, probably 2, to be honest, maybe 2 or 3 of them every game. And then you've got a brilliant substitute to come off the bench. And then you've got this rotational setup then, which is I just think it works. I don't think we need 6 or 7 or 8 players like this. I just don't. And you're right. There's a lot of players out there that are realistic. I don't think that's a realistic window. I think we're going to have to go big up front. Kerkez's 40, yeah. Huijsen, I don't think we're going to get Huijsen. I just don't. We can't offer him first team football. Cherki, I think Cherki's probably going to cost 30, maybe even 40. I think the numbers are a bit skewiffed on him. I think they're higher. Stiller is sensational. He's a top player. He would be the ideal defensive midfielder for me. He really would. I think he's so talented. He's so comfortable on the ball, and he can play really good, intricate passes that can just split defenses. And he's got so much energy. He's a really good player. But unfortunately, we're going to be fighting with Bayern Munich for him, because he came from Bayern Munich's youth team, and they've had an eye on him for God knows how long. And I think they've got a buyback clause on him as well. Unfortunately, we'd be fighting for him. But if we went in and just hit that release clause, then maybe. I hope so. I rate him, really rate him. Wesley Ederson, Gittins, David. But yeah, Bardet's a good player as well. Another centre back. I mean that's a hell of a window. That if we're completely honest, isn't it? It's a hell of a window. So you're looking at what, 20 million for Wesley, 60 million for Edison, 80 million for Gittins. David's free, but his sign on fee would probably be like 10 million. Ekatike 60 million, Bardet probably 40 million, Kirkes 40 million. Big money. Big money. Also, what I wanted to touch on as well is there's been a couple of other things which have come out today. So I don't know how true it is, but this was on Sky Sports Germany, by the way, if you don't know. Allegedly, Bayern Munich have bid 74 million for Cody Gakpo. This is on Sky. This was on Sky Sports Germany, by the way. 74 million for Cody Gakpo. Like, if we accepted that, there's a potential that we lose our entire forward line. If Mo goes on a free, we sell Jota, we sell Nunez, we sell Diaz, and we sell Cody. We need a complete forward line refresh. I know that's quite wild, but we actually did that 2 years ago with our midfield. We've done it before. We signed McAllister, we signed Szoboszlai, we signed Gravenberch, and we signed Endo. All in 1 year, all in one window. We've done it before. If we sold Cody for 74 million, and then you're getting rid of the likes of Jota for 50 and Nunez for 70 and Diaz for 70, and then obviously Mo leaves, you've got a complete refresh. I think Chiesa would probably go as well, if I'm honest. But if you got rid of every single forward and you just go for a complete refresh, how does everyone feel about that? Because I think that's wild, but it's worked with our midfield. And I genuinely believe it's going to be the biggest rebuild we've ever seen under FSG. And I'm talking maybe 25 players totally out the squad going. Like, I genuinely believe it could be that big. And it could be a case of, we've spoken to Virgil, we've spoken to Mo, we've spoken to Trent, and they've gone, so what's the plan? And then our plan is literally, look, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. There's going to be a massive overhaul because the club hasn't been ran the right way in the last 4 years. We haven't been signing the players that stylistically fit the way we want Liverpool to be in the future. We want to be going for, 23-year-old plus that have got ceilings which are gigantic. We've got a lot of players that aren't good enough for Liverpool. Like, we've got a lot of players that were signed and they've not made the mark. So we need to move them on. We've got a lot of players that are at the end of their shelf life. And I think it's wild, but it could really be this massive transition where we just get it all done in the next 2 windows. Eze's 26. Eze's 26. Like, he's older than Cody. Like, that's not going to happen. I can't see it. Gahey for Van Dijk. Gahey's 24. It would tick all the boxes, wouldn't it? It would tick all the boxes. Like, I think we signed Van Dijk when he was 26, didn't we? Like, it's a really interesting one. Like, I thought about this for a while, and like, if you just think of the way the club was ran back in the days when Edwards was there, we had 2 gigantic windows, and one player sale got us Alisson and Virgil van Dijk, which were basically the defensive spine. So you got a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class centre-back. Yeah. Alisson wasn't a world-class goalkeeper at the time. He was back up to Szczesny at Roma, and he was back up to Neto in the Brazilian squad. He wasn't world-class, but we paid a world record fee for the goalkeeper. Yeah. We then went and paid a world record fee for the defender, and it paid off. Yeah. Why can't we do it again? Why won't we do it again? Like, he's already done it. Edwards has already done what we're saying we won't do before. He went and bought Alisson, and he went and bought Virgil van Dijk. And I get that we sold a player to fund them, but we could sell players to fund them. So we could sell a number of players to then sign a world-class centre-back. Like, we could go and get a Bastoni. We could go and sign Bastoni. Like, he would cost 70 million. And he's quite possibly one of the best centre-backs in the world, in my eyes. Like, he's there or thereabouts. Like, he's been absolutely sensational. Like, top draw player. Or you go and get a Tchouameni, or you go and get a Araujo, who plays for Barcelona. You go and get a Jules Koundé. Like, you spend big money. It's going to cost you plus 60 million for one of these guys. But you go and get it done, or you go and get a Slotterbeck. Go and get a Slotterbeck from Bayern Munich, or you go and get a Lekeba. But you can go and get these guys, and I know Virgil van Dijk is an insane player to replace, but he will need to be replaced in potentially 2 years. Potentially 2 years he'll need to be replaced, but he will need to be replaced. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you make it easier on your manager now, who's just going to be winning the league? So he's just won a league, and then you go, you know what? You've done an incredible job in your first year. We're going to have this rebuild in this next window and this next window, and then we're going to be building for league titles and Champions League titles for the next 5 years. Bang, 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 bang. And we did it. We did it with Jurgen when we had Edwards. We had that massive 2 windows, and then he said, I'm going to win the league in the next 4 years. And he did. And we were the best team in the world for 2 years solid. Like, we were top. Like, we went right, we won the league at a canter. And then the next season we won the Champions League, and we missed out on the league by 1 point. And then the season after, we then missed out on the league by a point again. 2 points. So we're certainly capable of doing that again with the guy that did it, but just not the manager. But this manager's already proven that he can work with a rebuild, and given his own players, he can win titles, and he can get to cup finals, and he can win finals because he's won finals, but he's been to cup finals. He's already proven he can do incredible things with somebody else's team and get the best out of players that the previous manager couldn't. You know, we can all sit here and go, oh, you know, not sit here and go, oh, you know, Jurgen done brilliantly with loads of players. Well, yeah, he did. But Arne Slot came straight into his team and done brilliantly with his team. Like, Jurgen came into Brendan Rodgers' team and didn't do that well with it. But he still got to finals, which is what Arne Slot's done. But Arne Slot's going to win the league. So we move some players on, and then Arne Slot gets his players, or high quality players, which is also what's being talked about this season. Like, how many times has Arne said, I'm not going to play him because I've got this guy. And if he's not better than this guy, then why am I going to play him? And he's literally saying, you have to be as good as McAllister or Virgil van Dijk or Mo Salah, otherwise you're not getting in my team. But now he's seen that he has many players that aren't as good as them, as in Diaz, Nunez, Jota. And then you've got Endo, and then you've got Elliott, and then you've got Robbo, and you've got Tsimikas. You've got Gomez. You know, you've got Morton. Morton's not good enough. Like, you've got players that aren't good enough. And Arne Slot has already told us this, that they're not good enough to get in his team. And he doesn't play them. And you can all sit there and go, oh, well, you know, we've already come out and said that we're not selling Gerald Quansah. I wouldn't be surprised if Gerald Quansah went to Newcastle. Would not be surprised. He went to Newcastle as a make weight for Isaac. I wouldn't be surprised. Because Gerald Quansah, he got given his chance, and then he got dumped out of the team. And then as soon as Konate got injured, he then stuck Joe Gomez in. So we clearly didn't rate Quansah at all to then plonk Gomez in, because Gomez wasn't even a starter. There was moments where Gomez wasn't even on the bench at the start of the season. Gomez didn't even make the bench. And we're all sat there going, oh, we've got a big squad. We've got a great squad. Well, Arne Slot doesn't rate his squad. He doesn't rate his squad like we do. And if he doesn't rate his own squad, then he needs to get his own players. And there's a lot of money that he can make off selling players to buy players. So, and Jerry James has said this. Like, he said this on Enza's channel and he put it really, really well. And he basically said that we have spoken to Mo, and we've spoken to Virgil, and we've spoken to Trent. And they can be sat there saying, oh, I love Liverpool, I want to stay, I want to stay. If you really love Liverpool that much, yeah, like you say, and you really want to stay, you'd have already signed your contract, because we've offered you the same wages, because Liverpool aren't going to offer them less. Like, that's already come out now. We've offered you the same wages. It's all about the length of contract. Yeah. So you're sat there thinking, hang on a minute, if it means more to you and you really want to stay at the club because you love the club, yeah, and you're an old player, like, you're not a spring chicken, one's 32 and one's 33. Why can't you just have a year rolling contract? And then next year, you can just do the same thing again. And if you want to go to Saudi Arabia, then the option's there. But they haven't done this, and they haven't signed new contracts. So you genuinely have to sit there now and go, are they going to? Like, are they really going to sign new contracts now? Because if it means so much to you that you keep on saying it does, you just stay. Because what are you doing? Like you have to be planning now. Well, where do my kids go to school next year? Like my family's got to move. Like, I've got to sell my house. Like, you've literally got 3 months left before you haven't got a contract anymore at a club. You have to have sorted something out by now, which is why we're all sat there going, you know what? It makes sense that Trent's been negotiating with Real Madrid for 2 years, because sometimes it would take that long to sort out your future, to know where you're going to be and what you're going to do. And it's taken time. And Mo and Virgil are world icons in the sporting world. Like, they must have either agreed a contract with Liverpool, and that's going to be announced, or they've already gone. They've already gone. and they're going to pop up at a club somewhere. Like Virgil's going to end up in Real Madrid, or Mo's going to end up at PSG, or whatever. Because I don't think they're staying. I just don't think they're staying. I just don't think that's been sorted now. It's way too far down the line. I mean, Mo came out and said, I think it was back in November. The start of the season when we beat Manchester United at their ground. He came out and said, I want to stay. Well, if you want to stay, mate, then we could throw anything at you. And you should just be saying, okay, great, I'll take that. I'll take that. But it has to be about the money, and it has to be about the way, it has to be about the amount of time. So it can't matter to you that much. Like, you get paid an obscene amount of money. So it's not about the club, and it's not about the love. It's about money, and it's about the amount of time in the contracts. So I think they've gone. I genuinely think they've gone. Like, listening to Jerry talk about it just kind of made me think, yeah, I mean, if you move house, it takes months to sort stuff out. Like, you've got to sort out where your kids are going to school. Like these guys are literally leaving Liverpool in 3 months' time. Like, they're not just going to be at Liverpool with no contracts. Like, they're gone. They're gone. If nothing's been announced now, they have gone. Like, and we need to look at that now. And we also have to think about it as well. You look at the players we're linked with. They're players that play in their positions. Like, you look at Gahey, we're linked with Gahey, we're linked with Slotterbeck, we're linked with Lekeba, we're linked with Bastone, we're linked with Dean Huijsen. These are all left-sided centre-backs. They're all left-sided centre-backs. They can all play in Virgil's position. They can all play in Virgil's position. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that you're going to be signing a left-sided centre-back. Why are you doing that? Because the left-sided centre-back is leaving the club. Like, I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it. But it's the biggest rebuild under FSG, and it's been talked about by David Ornstein. It's been talked about by a number of reporters. You don't think the biggest rebuild is us going to be losing the 3 players that have literally got 3 months left on their contract before they walk out the club? That would be the biggest U-turn I have ever seen, because nobody leaves it to the last 3 months to sign 3 players on new contracts. Nobody. Just nobody. And the Mo Salah one, who are we linked with? Well, Arnie Slot had a phone call with Jeremy Frimpong recently. Like, he had a phone call with Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong is the perfect replacement for Mo Salah if you're looking for a winger that terrorizes teams and puts the ball on a plate for the striker. He doesn't score a massive amount of goals, but Arnie Slot's wingers are not there to score goals. They're not. You have to look at Arnie Slot's previous teams. Like, Arnie Slot is a non-transitional manager that's come into Liverpool as a transitional team. Everything we've done this season has been muscle memory and transitional, which is what Jurgen drilled into everybody for the last 9 years. And it's won us the league by great management on and off the pitch and fantastic medical facilities and the way we've been able to manage the players throughout the season. 100%. And you've also had 2 guys that are playing every single game at 9 out of 10s because it's their last season at Liverpool. Because it's their last season at Liverpool. You wonder why Mo Salah's going for mad records this season, and you wonder why Virgil van Dijk is playing the most incredible football you've ever seen. It's because they're not going to be at Liverpool next season. It's because they know it's their last year. They know they're gone. They know they're gone. It's starting to, the penny's dropped. For me, For me, the penny's dropped. I'm just going to get Gags on for a bit. Big up, Gags.
How you doing, man? You all right?
I'm all right. Everyone thinks I'm smoking.
Well, because of your opinions.
Mate, if you've got 3 of your star players and you've got 3 months left, they're gone. It's too long now. Too long, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
When is that ever? What, I would love someone to name me a time where that's happened. All 3 players sign new contracts when they've got 3 months left and they've been in negotiations for the whole time. Like, we know they have. Like, we're not close. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're talking, but nothing. Like, they're all gone. What's your spin on it, mate? What's your spin on it?
I'll be honest, it's like, am I surprised? No. If it is to do with what you're saying in terms of they've been, it's not really to do with, it's more to do with length of contract as opposed to like the money that they've been offered. I mean, I guess it makes sense in terms of like where they are at their age for them to not be offered as many years as they would want, but to do the roll on contracts like after like whatever they've been offered. But I think they've done enough during their 8, 9 year, 10 years.
Oh,
10
mate, I'm signing them all. I'm signing all 3.
Who demand their length of contracts that they want, in my opinion. So for me, I think if it is the length of contract that's the stumbling block, I think both players have earned the right to demand however many years they want on their contracts, with even if it's like for the same like amount that they're willing to accept. So that's that. And the other thing is, if all 3 do leave, it is going to be a rebuild, and it will set us back a few years, and it may take us a few years to get back to the top and start winning again, because there isn't a player like for like out there in world football that you can replace Virgil and Mo with. And the way you're gonna have to do it is, especially with Mo, you're gonna have to change the way you play, in the sense where your right winger can't be your main goal scoring threat. It would have to, your focal point would have to be a striker, and you would have to get a creative winger that will have to feed him through. And then with Virgil's probably going to be the one of the most difficult to replace out of the 2, because it is a centre back, and there isn't a way around trying to negate not having the quality of it in world football to replace Virgil. It's going to be a centre back for centre back. So we're just gonna, as if Liverpool fans are going to be patient, and they're going to have to accept that the next 3-4, it may take a few years for us to compete for the league again if all 3 of them leave.
So my spin on it, is, look, so we got a manager, completely new to the Premier League,
Yeah.
I think his target this year was top 4. I'll be completely honest. I think his target was top 4 and potentially a good run in cup competitions, potentially a cup. Yeah. So if he could recreate the Carabao Cup, and a good run in the Champions League, and a top 4 position, I think that would have been the quota. Like, if you can do that, then fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. No signings. Okay,
Yeah.
Chiesa, might as well got a hologram. So we got Chiesa, he got Mamardashvili. One of them's not here, one of them's kind of here, like a toe in. And he's got to a cup final, absolutely romped the Champions League. Potentially one game away from being the Invincibles, I feel, this season.
Yeah.
If we hadn't lost against Forest, we would be the Invincibles right now. He's got more goals than any other team. He's conceded less goals than any other team. We've got better XG than any other team. We've got better XG against us than any other team. We've conceded less shots than any other team. Like, the numbers are absolutely bonkers. Like, they really are. With a team that isn't his, do you feel that they've let this happen because they've gone, hang on a minute, we're massively overachieving this season. We can have a league title, and maybe we can rebuild earlier than maybe what we planned. Because maybe they hadn't planned for this rebuild right now. It might have been 2 seasons, or maybe we get rid of a few this season, and then next season we do a few, and then we kind of maybe get a marquee here and there to get us up there. But maybe they've gone, hang on a minute, if we just clear out, we can have top 4 next year, maybe another Champions League run. Yeah. We've still got a lot of good players, by the way. We've still got a lot of good. We've still got Ali. You've got Ali, or you've got Mamadashvili next year. You've got Kanate. You've got Bradley, and potentially you'll get another good right back in. Yeah, you've got McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Jones, and then you've got Cody Gakpo. Yeah, maybe they keep Jota. I don't know. Maybe they keep Jota. I don't know. But then you're sat there going, got loads of good players there. You add 6 into that bunch, 6 really high quality players. So say you get an Isak, or say you get an Osherman. Say you go and buy a Bastoni, or you go and get a Lekeba, like really quality players, and then you get maybe a Hato or a Guehi, who can kind of play all over the back line. Yeah. Maybe you go and get a really good right back, or maybe you trust Bradley and you get a backup right back. I don't know, but and then you maybe go and get a Stiller or a Adam Wharton for your midfield. And you don't think we could go again? Because Arsenal look like they're going to need a bit of surgery. Chelsea are still off it. Man United are off it. Tottenham are nowhere. The only team that's really there or thereabouts is probably Man City next year, but they're going to need major surgery as well. Like, their goalie's going, their midfielder's going. Are they going to be losing like 4 or 5, 6 players again? Like, I genuinely believe that, like, Newcastle's probably one to look at, but they haven't got the money. And if they lose Isak, they're losing tons of goals, which is then going to get put into our team. And even if they lose Gordon, because we looked at him, they're losing a lot of creativity from that guy. They're potentially losing Guimaraes. Like, you don't know with them, to be honest. But I'm sat there thinking, probably top 3 again next year with a good run in the Champions League because he's experienced, and maybe another cup competition. And then they've all gelled. And then you go again, and you could go again like we did with Jurgen when he got his Ali, Virgil, he had his Mane, he had his Salah, he had his Bobby, and he had all of his team, Fabinho, and they were rocking. And we were the best in the world for like potentially 3 years, if you ask me. Like, maybe Man City were a bit better than us, just in the league. But for me, 3 years, we were absolutely flying.
Okay, Mac, you know,
we could be there again. Like, I'm just saying.
The thing is, I agree with. So the problem that I personally,
I'm not a massive fan of Gordon either. Sorry, I'm just putting that out there.
Oh yeah, nor am I. I've never really clocked onto the hype, to be honest with you, of Gordon. Like, for me, he's a transitional footballer. You put him up against a low block, he struggles, based on his skill set. But the thing is, I'm glad you touched on when Klopp's first build of his squad and the 3 years where we were out of this world. The problem that I had with that, there was one issue that I had with that Klopp 1.0, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
When we won the Champions League and we won the Premier League, all the successful teams in the past, right, strengthened in a position of power. And what I mean by that is you've got your core that's in their prime to win now and are out of this world, and you're not gonna, and I'm not saying you're gonna it would have been extremely impossible to displace that first, what, 11 to 13 players, right, that we had.
Yeah.
But all successful teams in the past, you look at your Manchester Uniteds, you looked at your Chelseas, you looked at the Arsenals during the early Wenger years as well, and even the Cities, they would always supplement the squad that was always strong with one or two signings every year. And those signings may not have been at the level of the first team, but they were good enough to at least push the first team to make the manager question, all right, maybe I can play him in this game and it won't affect us in the long term. And then it also keeps the first team players on their toes. That's what we didn't do under Klopp and the ownership during Evolution 1. Now, the big question I'm going to have is, say if Salah goes, say if Virgil goes, and obviously Trent goes, and we do need this reset and rebuild, and we get the players that the scouting team have, scouted through the research and everything, and they are the players that Mane, Salah were back then, not the world class ready-made players, but on the cusp, and we do form that team for slot that reaches the pinnacle again and becomes one of the best teams in Europe again, right, on this rebuild. Are we going to have to go through that same cycle under Klopp, where he had his 11 and he doesn't feel that he can strengthen in any other way, shape, or form, and he will just buy squad players? Or will he buy, when we're in this position of power, or will he just be complacent and he will just stick with that team? Because I think that was our biggest downfall.
Yeah.
And for me, since 2020, we kind of stagnated and went downhill because of that reason.
Yeah.
And this is my biggest question with this football club, with this ownership, which is why you've known my take on FSG for the last 2-3 years, and that's the main reason why I have been FSG out, because I can recognize that their model has been brilliant getting us to the top, but it's not been the ideal model to keep us to the top, keep us there. And the main thing that cost us from keeping us there is supplementing the squad with one or two signings every single year, just to keep the team refreshed and on its toes, and even the first team on its toes as well. So that's my big question mark with this football club. And and if you ask me now, do I think that they are going to change? I can't definitively say yes until I've seen it.
So I agree with what you say. Like I like pretty much everything, to be honest, mate. The biggest problem I've got with FSG is the fact that they give you so much power. That's the one that they literally stuck a guy in the car and he couldn't drive the car, and then they got out. just let him crack on. And it obviously forced Edwards out, and there was a huge director of football changing again, and what were people doing? And there's a huge duty of care issue. I mean, I said it at the start of the video where Edwards left and no contracts got signed. No players renewed contracts when Edwards left. What the hell was that about? Edwards did this massive raft of 6-year contracts for everyone and then left. And then obviously Julian Ward become director of football, and then he got mismanaged, and then left after 6 months. And he signed McAllister and put a lot of the gubbins in for the others. But then nobody spoke to any of the players about contracts. Like got Mo, Virgil, Canate, Trent, like everyone all just running contracts down. And now we're in this situation, and we're also going to be in the same situation in a year's time.
It's gross negligence.
It's correct. It's gross negligence, 100%. So my spin on it is, if Edwards would have stayed, it wouldn't have worked with Jurgen anymore, because Jurgen wanted the players to play beyond their peak, and Edwards wanted to get rid of the players while they still had value at the end of their peak. So basically, you're giving a guy to another team that's going to start declining, and we're not going to suffer the decline.
Yeah,
that's the way he works. That's the way he works, whether we like it or not, and whether we think Mo or Virgil are going to do that is irrelevant, because 90% of players do. Like, they do. There's only a few that don't. Like Messi's, Ronaldo's, Lewandowski's. Like, there's very few that have that decline, and that's just a fact. Like you can go and search through the annals of history.
Yeah,
You're not going to find that many, but Mo and Virgil are ones which aren't. Okay, they're not. They're going to get another good 2 years out of those two. You can see it.
they're the exception to the rule, basically.
However, and this is the interesting one, we potentially had our two best seasons, after we obviously won the league and won the Champions League.
Yeah.
We potentially had two of our best seasons when we had a load of players that were playing out their skin because they thought they were going to leave. Like, you can't tell me that you didn't think a lot of that Liverpool squad that tried for the quad and ended up with 2 cups. You can't tell me that there was a number of those players that thought, we're not going to be able to do this again. Like, this team isn't going to stay together like this, because you've got Hendo, Fabinho, Mane, Bobby. Who else have you got in that team that's old? Like, thinking it's probably their last. There's probably going to be, I'm probably going to get sold next season, or there's going to be a breakup of this team.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And then we had that horrible season. So you look at this season,
that team was
and there's a number of players that they're probably not going to be here next year. Like, Ali might not have thought he would be. Robbo, Virgil, Mo, obviously Trent's obviously going to Madrid, so you've got Trent as well.
Yeah.
So, and Jota to a certain extent maybe doesn't think he's going to be, or even Diaz maybe doesn't think he's going to be. So you have got that element of they're playing out their skin because this is going to be their last hurrah with Liverpool, and it potentially is. And he's going to have to do this rebuild. But you know what? He won a league in his first season. He's got the credit in the bank with the board to maybe give him 2 years to do this rebuild. And you've got Edwards, who's done the rebuild to get us to the top of the mountain. We have to trust him that he's going to get us back there. But what he's going to have is he's going to have a manager that's already bought into the process. He's already bought into it. And he's also young, which means he hasn't got the hierarchy thing where he goes, well, hang on a minute, I've been doing this for years. I know better than you. Like, and Edwards is like, I know better than you, mate, because I took Liverpool to the top of the mountain. Like, with Jurgen, you can be our Jurgen. Like, but you can't have the power Jurgen had. And he's already sat there and gone, I'm not in charge of contracts. I'm not in charge of signings. Like, talk to the other guy. So he knows where he sits. And the worry I've got is, in 5 years' time, are we going to go through the same process? Like, is the manager going to get all the power again? I don't think so now, because we'll have Edwards as the COO. He's got the power. FSG have got to take away the power from him to then give it to somebody else. And I think this could be a good dynamic. I do worry about Hughes because he's Edwards' mate.
Yeah.
I do worry about that. I do think maybe Julian Ward should have been our director of football, because he was really good when he was our director of football. He did all the 6-year contracts, and he got us a lot of good players. Like, he got the guys that Jurgen wanted. So maybe, but I don't know. Maybe Hughes has got bigger contacts. I don't know.
I'll be honest, I would have personally gone for Ralph Ragnick
Ralph Ragnick's unbelievable director.
He would have, because that's one guy who Klopp
Crap manager,
respects, and
but yeah.
Klopp would not have got his way over.
100%, 100%.
That's genuinely who I think we.
But like, but I can see people in the chat though, like naming players like you have to look at the previous guys that Liverpool could have got. We could have got the Caicedos. We could have got the Enzo Fernandezes. We could have got the Osimhens. We could have got the Kvaratskhelis. We had all of these guys. Like, they were all available for us to sign at lower prices than you would have ever imagined. But we had a manager that didn't want them. Like, we had a manager that wanted his one guy, and if he didn't get his one guy, he'd wait a year, even though we didn't have the player in the position that we needed that guy for. And that, I think that's the difference. Like, and we can all sit here and go, "Oh, we didn't buy anyone this year," and blah blah blah. He doesn't do that. Like, he came into Liverpool and he spent time assessing everything before we then went and got Virgil, Mo, like Mane, Bobby, Fabinho, like, Gini Wijnaldum.
Wasn't Edwards there before Klopp though?
He was there before Klopp. But when Klopp came in, he paused it and Klopp assessed everything. And Slot's, in my eyes, Slot's done exactly the same.
Yeah,
like,
but
he knows who he can't trust because he's not playing them.
But the thing is, the reason why I could understand why Klopp didn't really get signings straight away when he came in. I presume you're talking about his first sort of like half season, right? So that January window, and it's because back then we were in a different state to what we are now, in the sense where we were top half struggling team, where we'd not been at the top for 30 odd years, and Liverpool fans couldn't dare have an expectation of getting his players now to achieve results quickly, and we knew it was going to be a process, and we kind of accepted it in a way. And then when we got to where we got to, which took a 4 to 5 year process, and we got to the pinnacle. The thing is, the problem is when you taste victory and you taste the big honors as a fan, right? As a fan of a football club, you want it, you crave it again and again and again, and you can't accept, and you won't accept any sort of dip or a slip up in the following seasons on from getting to the top. Now, the issue is I know a lot of Liverpool fans didn't expect us to win the league, but it looks like we are going to win the league, and it exceeded a large percentage of Liverpool fans' expectations. Now, with the situation we face ourselves in, with the big players going, are Liverpool fans going to have the patience or accept the fact that we could potentially drop from first to third, potentially fourth? Because if you look at especially the recent Premier League years, like the quality and the points gap difference between first and third and fourth, it's quite substantial. So it's very hard to accept not at the minimum challenging until the latter like stages of the season, especially off the back of winning the league.
I think with that as well though is okay. So you have to look at this for me. Clearly, the three other forwards like Diaz, Nunes, and Jota, like they're not going to get you a title. Like you're not going to be able to rely on them unless you've got someone who does 60 GA. Like, are you kidding me? Like that's just insane. Like Gakpo's nearly got 30 GA on his own. So you got Mo and Gakpo basically covering the entire forward line because they've scored 4 goals in 2025. Like it's absolutely pathetic, and I don't expect them to get any for the latter stage of the season because they haven't done in the past.
Yeah.
Like they've been notorious for not being able to either be fit or score goals towards the end of the season, and that's Diaz, Nunes, and Jota.
Yeah.
Jota's just a fitness issue, really, because he's always been scoring goals. There or thereabouts. Anyway, so say you're just taking away, say you're just upgrading that part of it. So say you go and get your Isak, yeah. Isak could get you 40 GA, yeah, and then you go and get another guy. So you go and get maybe, I don't know, an Osherman or Ekitike or a Cunha or someone like that. Then you're probably going to get 20 GA, maybe 30 if you're lucky, yeah.
Right.
So you basically revamp those 3 with 2, yeah. You're then losing Mo. Like Mo is just a massive loss. Like he's a huge loss because he gets you 40 GA every year
on his own.
Yeah, guaranteed he gets you 40 GA.
Yeah, on his
this
own.
season he's going to do like nearly 60, but you take him out of the equation, you're going to need one top player. So you're going to need at least 3 30 GA players. Like that's really difficult. So then you are probably going to have to get, I mean, you probably are going to have to get like a similar type of player, or you change your team, like, and you have a striker that is probably one of the best in the world who can hit you 40, 50 GA.
Oh yeah,
and you reinvent your team so you get goals from everyone. So you get maybe near enough 10 goals off your wingers and your midfielders, and maybe even you have a 10 that can maybe hit 15 goals. Because at the moment we haven't got a 10 that can hit 15 goals. I mean, Soboslai's got 7 goals this season in 33 starts. It's not bad. Like, to be honest, it's not that bad.
Our 10's not really a creator.
People slate him, like, but it's not that bad. But if you stick a Cunha in there, maybe you get 25, like, or like I don't know, but if I'm looking at Slot, I'm thinking Slot doesn't want wide forwards. I'm thinking Slot doesn't want to play wide forwards anymore next season, and he wants.
So how do you think he's going to deploy his wingers?
Pace. He wants pace, and he wants cutbacks to the zone 14. Frimpong gives you that. Frimpong gives you that. Like watch Frimpong. Just watch that guy. He's an absolute speed demon that puts the ball into zone 14 every single time. He doesn't do crosses to the back post, so you won't need a tall, rangy, like you won't need a guy that's going to be basically a lump, that's going to be a bit of a grunt, like up front. You want a guy that's going to be able to move into zone 14, so he's going to play. He can play false 9, he can play number 9, and he can dribble, and he's more maneuverable on the ball. So you've got your Cunha, you've got your Ekitike, you've got your Isak, like you're growing Krez, and I mean, Osherman's pretty good, to be fair. Like I take him all day long, But like your Goinkers and your Seskos and the guys like that, they're too rigid. Like I don't think they could be involved in a play like that. But if you watch Ekitike and you watch Isak and you watch Cunha, they're really skillful. They can go past players. They make themselves free all the time with their movements. And if you've got really fast wingers, like I think you could do something different. And if you've got that midfield that's got goals, like we're trying to get more goals out of McAllister, trying to get more goals out of Szoboszlai. Like Curtis Jones could probably chip in with more goals. Like Gravenberch can probably score more goals, but we don't get him in the positions. I just think next season we're going to see a different team. We're going to see stuff that we've never seen before at Liverpool, and I think we're just going to be like, whoa, like why haven't we been able to do this stuff before? And this guy is going to play different football because right now he's transitional, and we're not transitional. Slot's not transitional.
No, he's not.
Watch him at his previous clubs. Like we're literally getting a guy that's come in and gone, right, okay, I'm not signing anyone because that's the remit. Yeah, I'm evaluating everyone. I'm going to try and get the best of what I've got. What can I get the best out of? Okay, the best player in the team is Mo Salah. He's done pretty well getting the best out of him.
To be fair, he did want Zubimendi though last summer.
He did want Zubimendi. And we are missing a Zubimendi type player. Like we are. Like we're missing a really incisive guy that can break things up and get us 30 yards up the pitch really quickly. Like Gravenberch has been good, but has he got the passing ability of a Zubimendi? Like we probably seen Zubimendi as like a Rodri, didn't we? But he's kind of like maybe a wish Rodri.
Yeah, because the thing is because a lot of teams later on in the season kind of figured out Grav in a way because of the way they defend against him. Box him in, yeah. And he doesn't have the passing range. The way he gets out of space is to shimmy and pivot, and
that's the only negative side about Gravenberch is he hasn't got the passing range. Like it's unfortunate, but he's still only young. He's still only like 22, isn't he? Like 23. Like I think we all forget that like our midfield is still really young.
So, say if we get like a Zubimendi type player or a Baleba, for instance, because Baleba's also been.
Stiller. I think we'll get Stiller.
Let's just like say one of those three players.
Or Larson as well. We're linked with Larson, by the way.
Okay, cool. So any one of those type of that profile of player that you were talking about just now, right? Who comes out then?
I think it's Grav.
Okay.
I think it's Grav. Like I really do. Like if you really think about it, like I mean Gravenberch has been amazing, all right. I'm not saying he's not good enough to play, he certainly is.
Yeah.
But if we got Zubimendi, Grav would have been a sub. He would have been a sub. Like he would have played McAllister and he 100% would have played Szoboszlai because Szoboszlai is just a machine. He's just legs. Like he's so active. He presses all the time. He's closing down all the time. Like he's so involved in everything. And he needed a player like that who's like just to cover Mo, just to cover Trent, like just to cover just everything down the right hand side for some reason. Like, but we haven't got many profile players that can do that. So he would have put Dom in and would have gone, I can't take him out. Because when he takes him out, we do look a bit like we're missing stuff.
But I think Dom
if you got Zubimendi,
yeah,
he would have played him. Like he would have bought him and played him, and then Grav's got to then win the position off him.
Yeah.
Do you think Grav's got that in him?
What to win it off Zubimendi?
To win it off a player that's been signed to replace you.
Well, to be fair, he's not really been put in that position, so we're going to have to wait and see if a player like that does come on.
Well, he was last season. He was signed, and he had to win the position, and he didn't look like he was arsed last season. If I'm honest, like I'm not digging on Grab, by the way. Grab's been absolutely brilliant this season. Okay,
no. But what
please don't take that the wrong way. Like, but last season he could have easily gone out on loan, like, and we wouldn't have missed him. We wouldn't have missed him if he got out on loan. Like, he wasn't great last season, and he didn't look like he wanted it enough last season. But if
sorry, are you talking about Grav in Klopp's final season? Klopp's final season,
last season, yeah.
But the thing is, to be honest with you, before we knew Jurgen Klopp was going to leave Liverpool Football Club, right, and we brought Gravenberch in, the Gravenberch signing under the way Klopp played didn't make sense anyways, because Gravenberch is not a road runner, hard-working like type midfielder where like he's a ball progressive midfielder that likes to play in a team that's more controlled and possession based, and we were never like that with Klopp, and it was never going to work with Jurgen Klopp. Gravenberch was never going to work with a Jurgen Klopp style of play. And then as soon as Slot comes in, and you are right in the sense where we didn't completely go away from the transitions, because a lot of our goals this season have come from transitions, but just a change of formation with a double pivot and just implementing more control where we were playing through our midfield a lot more than we had in previous years suited Gravenberch, which is why we got to see the best of Gravenberch, because even before Bayern signed him, he made his name at Ajax and he was playing double pivot at Ajax as well.
He was playing double pivot, yeah.
And you saw his skill set there. Like, it was very similar to what he'd been doing this season, progressing and like getting out of tight spaces. That is his strength. So it made sense that he was going to naturally perform better in a slot style of play, anyways. Which is why it kind of didn't surprise me that Grab was going to be better this season. I didn't expect him to have the season that he had, but just from those metrics, it made sense why Grav was played better. Even players like Gakpo as well, who didn't suit the way Klopp played, which is why when them two players were signed in the first place under Klopp, it didn't make sense to me.
What it felt like to me is Slot just came in and went, you know what? I'm just going to play the players in the right positions.
Yeah.
Like naturally, well, where do you like to play, Cody? Well, I'm a left winger, and I'm like a left-sided. I'm a left. He's not a left winger. He's a left inside forward. And I like playing there, and I scored loads of goals there, by the way, boss. And he's gone, all right, and you can play there. Oh, you're actually good there. And then he's gone like that to Gravenberch. So, what's the type of position you like to play? Well, I like to play like maybe deep double pivot. Oh, great. Well, that's what I want to play. And McAllister, you play double pivot? Yeah. I'm not playing DM on my boss. No, you're not. Don't worry. And there you go.
Yeah.
The only person who didn't get the memo was Obersley, because he's like, well, I want to play in the wing, boss, because I'm really good there. And he's like, oh no, Mo's there. Sorry, mate. You'll have to play in the 10. He's like, oh,
if Soboslai was ever going to dream of playing wing, it was always going to be left wing. It was never going to be right wing. And the thing is with do you reckon next season if Klopp gets a lot more of his players in, we will utilize Szoboszlai in the 10 the way he's being played, because it's kind of suits the way Slot has been playing him this season, due to the fact that we're still transitioning away from the Klopp style of play and trying to get a ball Slot style of play.
I think what's interesting with Szoboszlai is is I think him and Mo haven't really got that connection yet, and it's a real shame because I think they could really work well together. Like you've seen moments where like Mo plays him through and he plays Mo through, and they can interchange a bit, but they just haven't really clicked as much as you'd kind of hoped. And I do feel that Mo drifts into his position because Dom naturally wants to go towards the right hand side because he's been doing that. He's been doing that since he was signed for us. And Mo naturally drifts in, so they're kind of in the same zone in the same lane of each other.
Yeah,
I feel that like. Do you remember Havertz when he played in Germany?
I didn't really watch a lot of Havertz,
like
but I've seen
he
bits.
played like in between the lines of the defender and the midfielder. So you got the opposition's midfield and you got the opposition's defense. He played in between those lines and he'd drift in all the time, and he'd get goals. He scored loads of goals. Like he was a quality player. Like, and he was in.
Funny thing as well, you know, obviously before Havertz went to Chelsea, we were looking at Havertz as the long-term replacement for Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, well, Klopp loved Havertz.
Yeah, he could have been the Bobby Firmino replacement.
Yeah, I think there's no reason why Dominic Szoboszlai couldn't do that role and get 10, 15 goals and 15 assists. Like I genuinely believe he could do those numbers for us. He's done those numbers as other clubs. Like he scored more goals. He's got more goals and assists than Steven Gerrard has at this age, by the way, because he's still only 24.
Like, yeah, but the thing is, that's not a good comparison though, because Gerrard started off as a deep line player.
I'm generalising like of a midfielder that scores and assists like at a young age. Like he could be anything. Like he's got every single tool in the box. Like he really has, and he's still only 24. Like I don't think we understand like how good this player could be if he's put in the right place and utilized the right way and being given the opportunity and the tools around him to make him like genuinely, if you're going to rebuild Liverpool, like if you really want to do a rebuild on Liverpool, rebuild the team around Dom, like, and McAllister. Just rebuild the team around those two players, because you've got a world-class midfielder in McAllister already, and you've got someone who could be just an absolute monstrosity because he's got everything. Rebuild the team behind those two and use that nucleus to put all the other bits on.
McAllister, I would be inclined with building the team around more so than Szoboszlai. Only reason why I am still hesitant on Szoboszlai is because I think his decision making needs to be a lot better for me to be convinced that we can build a team around him.
I agree, but if you're playing next to a Mo Salah, you're always going to pass it to Mo Salah. Like why wouldn't you? Like the guy's got like an insane amount of goals and assists. Like you're always going to look for him, and it could literally be as soon as you're free and you get the ball and you see Mo, give him it. Of course, literally be told that. Like that's what you do all the time, and that's why he does what he does all the time.
Of course, no, I get that, and the thing is, then the onus needs to be on him. Be like, no, I've got the confidence to take the shot myself. Even I know it could go completely wrong or it could go completely well. That's the first thing with the whole Mo Salah thing. But let's just say Mo Salah leaves and you take him out of the equation and you put in another, and you replace him with another right winger, for instance. The point that you were touching on about where you thought Dominic Szoboszlai could do the role in between the opposition, in between the lines of the opposition midfield and the defense, similar to like what Bobby and Havertz was doing at Leverkusen that you touched upon earlier. He could do it, but the problem I have with the reason why I doubt that Szoboszlai could do that role is because, number one, I don't think he's great at playing his back to goal. Two, I don't think his hold up play is good enough. And three, culminate those two previous points together. For me, his decision making in the final third is a little bit hit and miss. For me, I would attribute Dominic Szoboszlai to be more of a Bruno Fernandes type number 10. He has more Bruno. He has more Bruno attributes than a Bobby Firmino and a Havertz.
I think Bruno's got serious IQ. Like love him or hate him, his numbers are insane. Like I don't know where Manchester United would be. They might even be in the Championship if they hadn't signed Bruno Fernandes.
To be fair, he's good for Manchester. He's keeping Manchester United afloat.
He's a bit. Look, I'm not doing comparisons, by the way, chat. By the way, but he does feel a little bit like Steven Gerrard did with us. Like we had a lot of crap players. Like there's a number of times when we were really stinky for months and months and months, and he just dragged us through games.
Gerrard
it does feel like Bruno does that for Man United, you know.
The thing is though with Gerrard, he influenced he could win a game from playing deep midfield. He could win a game by playing left midfield. He can win a game by playing right midfield, central midfield, a 10 and a striker. Because Gerrard in shit Liverpool teams, no matter where you played him, single-handedly won us games because Gerrard had more attributes.
We are going to stop them.
He had a lot more attributes that he could deploy to win us a game than Bruno Fernandes. So I get what you mean, but I think Gerrard had more bows.
No, I was just talking about like the team shit, and he's been good for them. I'm not doing comparisons like. And I did say that before I said it. I've got another one as well that I wanted to talk about is the right back position. Like, do you think we need to sign a starting right back to replace Trent? Because I don't think Bradley's going to be fit enough, like consistently.
Yes, I do.
I genuinely have issues with his. He's missed 50 games already, mate. Like he's not even played 30 games for us. Like that's just wild. Like
I would say yes, because as good as Bradley has been in some of the games, injuries are an issue, and also I think defensively, although he's had that brilliant, he's had a few good games defensively against certain wingers. I do think that he can be got at as well. There has been games where he has been got at, but it's just not been highlighted as much because it probably hadn't led to anything substantial compared to obviously some of Trent's ones, which have been highlighted a lot more. So the short answer is yes. I do think we need a right back to be. I do need a starting right back, and then Bradley to sort of deputise. And then worst comes to worst, didn't Endo if worst comes to worst and we do have an injury crisis, I'm pretty sure Endo can fill in that right back as well.
He'll be sold. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna finish the stream soon, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go through all the players that I think will leave.
Yeah,
and it'd be interesting to see if you agree or don't agree. Okay.
All right, go on.
Okay, so I'll start with the back. Goalkeeper Keller. I think he'll go to Bournemouth. I think we'll probably get 30 million for him. Genuinely, they're not going to go for I can't remember his name. Azab, I can't even pronounce his name.
Kepa.
They're not going to go for him because Chelsea want silly money for him.
Right.
So I think he'll go.
Yeah.
I think Costas Tsimikas will go.
Yeah.
I think Joe Gomez will go.
Yep. Go on.
I
agree.
I think Trent will go. Like, I know there's people still thinking that he won't, but I think Trent will go.
Yep.
I still don't know about Virgil. Like, I still really don't know about Virgil. Like, but I'm more down the fact that I think he'll go than he'll stay now.
Okay.
So you're losing goalkeeper, left back. Sorry, goalkeeper, left back, left centre back, right back, and another centre back. So that's 5 already. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Go on.
I think Endo will go.
I think Endo will stay.
I think Morton will go.
Okay. All right.
So that's so that we're now on 7.
Yeah. So players, yeah.
I think Elliot will go. I think,
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, there's 8. I think Nunes and Diaz will go. That's 10. Yeah. I think Doak will go. That's 11.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about Jota. I really don't know about Jota. That one I'm just not sure about. But I think if we've got
I think Jota might stay because I think Slot likes Jota.
the only thing about Jota is he's got a 2-year contract. So he's up for a renewal and he's 28. I think we might take the money. I genuinely do. You have to look at that as well. So I think Jota might go. So now we're on 12. I think Cade Gordon will go. I think Kumas will go. I mean, God, we're on like we're on 15. I think Ramsey will go. I think that's 16. I think that will be it. But if we get and Salah, I just think Salah will go. 17 players. 17 players. Like, that is huge. Like, I think he'll stay. I'll give you my team that'll stay because there's not that many. So Alisson.
Yeah.
Robbo.
Yeah.
Canate.
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah.
McAllister. Dom.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah.
Any more midfielder? Stefan Bajcetic.
Jaden Dans. Chiesa.
I think Chiesa will stay. That's 11. That's 11. Wild. That's wild, mate. Like Alquanza.
I personally would add Endo to that list.
Quanza as well. That's 12.
Yeah, I personally think Endo.
I think Rio will get promoted. Yeah, someone's just put that in the chat. I think Rio, Trey Ione, Nalo. I also think Alvin, the guy we got from Wolves. I also think he'll get promoted as well. I think there's a couple of other players. I think Lambie might get promoted. I think we'll probably end up bumping that up to like 15 with some of the youth. But I genuinely believe there could be 7 players coming in and 5 off first team players. Like, and that's wild. Like, that's just wild. Like, so go on. Who do you think? You think Endo will stay?
I think I pretty much agree with your list.
McConnell. I think McConnell will probably go out on loan.
Yeah, I think some of the ones that you said that might leave may go out on loan. But the only one I disagreed with was I think Slot will keep Endo.
You think he'll keep Endo and Jota? You think he'll keep Endo and Jota?
Endo and Jota. Jota. I'm still 50-50, but Jota maybe he might keep.
I mean, to be fair, like if you keep those 2, then you're putting it up to what, 13? Like at least you've got a squad. At least you've got a team.
I think Slot will. For me personally, I think Slot will benefit a lot next season if he utilizes Endo in a few more games, especially to close out.
Yeah.
If we're under the cosh.
So okay. So we've just gone through the outgoings and the people who stay.
Yeah.
So okay. So I think we're probably going to sign 7. So
Yeah.
I'm going to name 7, like hit or miss. Like I don't know. Like don't clip me up on this, by the way. So just through. Okay, so there's going to be 5 first teamers, and there's going to be 3. I might even go to 8, because there might be 3 players that are going to be young and up and coming, but they could like be the future, like if that makes sense, but not first teamers. So I'm going to go with 5. So I think we're going to sign. I think we're obviously going to sign a left-sided centre back. I think that's a done deal. So I think it could either be Gahey, Bastoni, Lekeba, Hato, or Hincapié. I think it's one of those. Okay.
I don't think I would rule Bastoni out personally.
I don't think it's a Huijsen. The only reason I say Bastoni is because of Hughes's connections with Italy. That's the only reason why I say that. And if you're going to replace Virgil, you're going to need a guy that can do a lot of what Virgil does. Bastoni's your guy. Like,
but I think it's the only reason why I think it's going to be hard to get Bastoni out of Italy based on Italian players' track records. That's why I probably would. I'm probably less like. I think out of that list you mentioned, I think Bastoni's less likely.
Virgil came for a rebuild, mate.
But Virgil, I think, but Virgil was at Southampton, so yeah.
Inter Milan aren't going to win the league this year, are they? Are they? How much?
Right?
Like would Bastoni try a different project? 25.
Based on Italian players' track records of how often they leave Italy, it's hard to believe. But it could happen. I don't know.
I think Jonathan Tar's. He's got Barcelona written all over him on a free transfer.
What about Schlotterbeck?
Schlotterbeck. Oh mate, did I miss Schlotterbeck out?
Yeah.
How did I miss Schlotterbeck out? Schlotterbeck or Bastoni or Gahey. They're the 3.
I think Schlotterbeck and Gahey are more realistic.
Schlotterbeck, 100. I talked about Schlotterbeck earlier. How did I miss him out? Dumb. Probably because I was talking about Hincapié and Hato. Okay, so we agree left-sided centre back, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We agree left-sided centre back. Okay, so Gahey's got 1 year left on his contract, by the way, which could make him a real possibility. Just putting it out there. Okay, yeah. So we go for a top class left-sided centre back who's over the age of 23. We agree on that. Yeah. Left back, 100%. I think Robbo will probably still play majority of next season.
Yeah.
Like, I just think he's still pretty reliable. Like I know he doesn't do enough going forward in my eyes, which is I've been quite critical over him because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's being played like that. But if you look at Slot's previous teams, his left-sided centre-back is a bit of a marauder, and his right-sided centre-back tucks in. Like, play as the third centre-back in transit. Well, not in transition, but when we haven't got the ball.
So, like in defence, basically, when we're getting hit in transition, okay.
Yeah. So, Hato, absolutely, he could be a guy that does that. Kirkes, I'm not sure about Anthony Robinson. I know people are talking about him. I'm not sure about Anthony Robinson because he's 28.
Right.
But then you've also got El Nouri. You can't ignore El Nouri. Like, we've been watching him for about 1 billion years.
Isn't he more of a wing back though?
Marauder, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right.
And you've also got the likes of Hincapie can play that role as well. Luke Haber can play that role as well, by the way. So then you've got your left-sided centre-back who can play left-back. So you've got a dual boot, just in case you have to spend a ton of money on the rest of the pitch. But if Virgil goes, we're going to have to spend more than 50 million on a centre-back. I can guarantee that.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a premium price.
Yeah. So I think your left-back, you don't have to spend as much on. But if you're spending 30, I think you'll get a good player. I think you'll get a Hato. You'll probably get a Kirkes. You'll probably get El Nouri. You'll probably get one of them for 30. Hincapie, maybe he costs a little bit more. But I'm looking at those two positions right away now. Okay.
Right.
Then you're replacing your right back. Like, are you buying a first team right back?
Yeah. 100%.
So then you're buying. We haven't been linked with any, mate. That's the problem.
Well, the only one we seem to be linked with is not a right back.
I know, we've been linked with none. Like the latest one's Giovanni Reid, who's played like 20 games.
Isn't he like 18 or something as well?
Yeah, he's 18. And also Martin Fernandez, who plays for Sporting. We've also been linked with Wesley, you're right. We've also been linked with Vanderson.
Yeah, Wesley's plays for.
But then we've also been linked with Frimpong.
Oh God, I don't want Frimpong. Genuinely, I don't want
Frimpong would be a nightmare as a right back, unless you're buying your left back to play more as a centre back, and then you can look at Lekebe, Hincapie, Hato. They can all play centre back.
But the problem with that though is the right centre back is going to have to do a hell of a shift,
and it's going to be Canate,
who's
used to it.
Yeah, and his hamstrings have gone for flipping trying to cover the right back. So that's the only thing no for me when it comes to Frimpong at right back. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
If people criticize Trent's defensive capability,
Frimpong doesn't defend. That's not his job.
He's a wing back.
He isn't his job. He plays with a back three as well. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I'd go for Jed Spence personally.
Jed Spence, I like Jed Spence as well, but I would go for Jules Koundé from Barcelona.
The thing is, that's the dream, but I don't think he will leave Barcelona.
I'd really go for it, because he's unsettled at Barcelona now because he's not going to sign a new contract.
Yeah,
he's only got 2 years left on his deal, and they're looking at Vanderson. By the way, I know Russell likes Vanderson, but they're actually looking at Vanderson. Deco's come out. Yeah, Deco's come out. Or you have Bradley, and you have a up-and-coming right back like a Martin Fernandez, or even a Hector Fort from Barcelona. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't, to be honest.
These are guys that are about to, they're playing 20 games. They played 20 games. So, or you go for a Wesley. Or you go for Wesley as a backup with your Connor Bradleys or your Giovanni Reids, and you have them as backup with Bradley. So the pair of them are rotating the games between them, or you take a punt and you try Kwanzaa as your right back because you want him to be more defensive, because you're going to have a winger who's not going to do any tracking back, and you know who I'm going to say, Frimpong. If you've got
Frimpong.
Frimpong as your winger, who's clearly not going to defend, then maybe you go for a more defensive style right back and you play Quonset, who's not going to be
But
that
then
guy
having Frimpong,
comes on.
having Frimpong as your winger, you're gonna is it's going to be really interesting on the
But you
profile.
play different style football, which
Yeah.
isn't Klopp football, which means you have wide players that can actually do wide stuff. Like say
So
we
a more
do go and get
conventional
Gordon.
right-footed right winger.
Say we do get and go. Say we do go and sign Gordon, because someone put in the chat before, Hughes said he's potentially world class. So say you go and get Gordon.
I don't think so.
He's a dribbler. He can go past players. He can knock the ball past players. Like he's got pace. Like
Yeah, but
watch
against a
Frimpong.
low block, I don't think
Frimpong tears people to pieces. So I've got my team. So I've got my team so far, mate. All right, left back, yeah. Left sided centre back, yeah. We're keeping Canate. We've got Ali or Mamadashvili, yeah. Then we go and get a right back to battle with Bradley, but he's not going to replace Bradley. The pair of them are going to rotate. So you're going to go and get a Reed or a Fernandez or a Hector Ford, someone like that, yeah. You're not going to spend mega bucks, yeah.
Okay.
That's 60 million, 30 million, so 90, and then potentially 20. So on like 110 million now. Say 100 million, 110 million.
Right.
That's your back done. You need one midfielder for me. One midfielder. So
you're going to go for a destroyer type?
Say we go and get Stiller. Yeah. Say we go and get Stiller. Or Adam Morton. Yeah. 40 million. Yeah. Do you think Adam Morton's more than 40 million?
English tax, I'd probably go for about 60 to 70.
God, okay, so we're not getting him then.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we go and get Adam. So we go and get Stiller, 35 million, or we maybe go and get Edison, or we even go and get João Gomez. We've been linked with a load of midfielders. I know I don't want those either. But say we're going to get him, yeah. So that's another 30, 40 million midfield done. The midfield done. We don't need anyone else. The midfield's done.
Baleba?
Oh, he's going to be 80. However, you could throw Elliott in for Baleba. So you could throw Elliott and then 40.
They could accept that, to be fair.
Could accept that. Elliott's perfect for Brighton. Like perfect for Brighton. So you go and get that midfielder. So you get Baleba or you go and get a Stiller. Yeah, so that's done. That's your midfield sorted for me. I don't think we need anyone else in there. Now we're getting to the interesting part.
The front line.
I've already got my Frimpong, who's 35 million. So he's replaced Salah for me. You need one more. You need another.
I don't know about Frimpong, you know.
But you need another guy in there for me. Like you can't just have Frimpong. He's not Mo Salah. Like he's not.
So he's going to be your striker then.
So my striker, I go and get Isak, or go and get Osherman, or go and get Ekitike. I go and spend it. I go and spend the big bucks. Alvarez. I go and get Alvarez. 120 million. Alvarez. 120 million. You go and spend that money. Like you go and get a guy that's going to score you 20, 30 goals. You have to, because you don't have Mo anymore. But what you do have is you have players that can score 10 goals on either side, 10 or 15 goals on either side. So you go and get your Frimpongs, who scores 10 goals. You go and get you've got your Gakpo anyway, or you go and get one more who can rotate between those positions. So you could go
Would you take a punt on Harry Kane?
Harry Kane's on like 400 grand a week. We need to reduce our wage bill. I'm talking about players that reduce our wage bill, apart from the top guy, who's going to be on 200 grand. Like you're gonna have to pay Alvarez or Isak 200 grand, 180 grand. You are.
Yeah, two.
you go,
Because
well,
I
you're
think
going
he's
to
at
get rid of
120 at Newcastle.
yeah. Well, you're going to get rid of Jota, who's on 140, and Nunes, who's on 140, and Diaz, who's on what 70? He's on 70 or something like that.
I heard 55.
55. Okay, so and then you're also going to lose Mo's on 350, Virgil's on 200, and Trent's on 200. I mean, you're massively reducing your wage bill.
50, yeah.
So you're massively reducing your wage. I mean, I think Endo's on like 100. I think Endo's on 100. Like seriously, I think
Endo's on 100k.
Elliot's on 70. Elliot's on 75, I think.
Okay. I'll be really surprised if Endo was on 100.
I think Frimpong's on 100. I think Kyrgyz is on 60 or 70 now. Kyrgyz is quite well paid, by the way. Like Frimpong's on 100, I think. So you're giving them wages, but you're reducing our wage bill like quite drastically. Do you buy one more? Like, do you go for a data signing? Like, do you go for like maybe 2 or 3 data signings now? Because you've got one top striker, that's one. You've got
Right.
top left back, 2, top centre back, 3. You're going for a top right winger, 4, and then you've got that midfielder, 5. But he isn't going to be your main midfielder. Or is he going to be your main? Is he going to be the guy who plays all the time? Is he going to be that defensive midfielder that we've always asked for? Because then that is 5. So then you've got, for me, 2 more that can be data signings that can float, that can go in different positions. So then you've got 1 forward that can play everywhere, which is a data signing. So you go and get someone put Malik. What's his name? Malik. Who's the French guy? Malik Fofana. So you're gonna get him. Yeah. Right. Data signing, like unbelievable, like really good numbers. Get him for like 25 million, 30 million. Data signing, and then you potentially maybe get a Mohamed Amora, who's another data signing for 20 million, who can play all over the park up front. So you get one of those, yeah? Or you go and get Semenyo, who can play all over, yeah? Data signing. So you get one of those guys. Do you go and get a data signing for the back or the midfield now?
I would go. I definitely wouldn't get a data signing for the forward. It would.
Well, you've already got Cody, you've got Frimpong, you've got Isak, you've got a Ekatike, like, and then you've got the data signing. So you've got 5 there, and you've still got Chiesa, by the way, floating around, or a Jota. So you've got 5 or 6, or you could drop the data signing and just keep your extra. Like, but if it's not Ekatike, it could be Cunha or it could be João Pedro or someone like that.
But I think if you're going to get an Ekatike, I think you need an Ekatike and then someone else who's a bit more experienced at the higher level.
But that's why you get an Isak or an Alvarez.
But then how much do you reckon Ekatike will go for?
60.
Because I'm hearing wild prices.
No, 60 million. 60 million.
So 60 million for him.
He won't go for more than Mamouche. He won't go for more than Mamouche.
So 60 million for Ekatike and what,
120 Isak, I reckon.
What, 120 including add-ons?
No, I think you'd be
120 plus.
We might even be able to throw in a player. Like I don't know. Like they might take Gomez off us for all we know. Like I don't know. Or even Keller. They definitely need a goalkeeper. Like Nick Pope's like not that great anymore. And Dabrowski, I think, has only got 1 year left on his contract or something. So yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't see.
So would you buy a
would
buy a data midfielder, or would you buy a data defender? So would you go for like another rotational centre back, or just a young centre back, or would you
I would if you were to force me to get a data signing in one of the 3 areas, I'd probably get a data signing for.
That's just for the 7th. Sorry, that's for the 8th. That's for the 8th one.
Probably a defense. Probably in defense, I'd get a data signing.
Defense. So you go and get a. I mean, who are we talking about? Like young defenders. Like, so I suppose you could go and get another. You could go and get a young left back then that potentially will replace Robbo eventually, because you've already got your left back who's replaced Robbo, but then Robbo's the backup, but then he's going to be gone the season later because his contract ends. You're going to need someone to. You don't want to just throw someone in there as backup the next year, like out the blue. So you might build that. Yeah. Are you talking Nico Williams? I mean, if you're talking Nico Williams, then there's your right back for me. I think he's absolutely sensational. Like, I thought he was good when he played for us, but he just.
He plays left back for.
He plays left back this season, mate. He's a right back though, but he plays left back this season. That's how versatile he is.
Yeah.
He did sky a penalty in that game. Did you see it?
Oh, who, Nico Williams or Olaina?
Yeah, he guided it. Smashed it over the bar. He wore the number 7 shirt. Like, he plays all over the place, to be fair. But yeah. He's an interesting player. Like, but I think he'll cost a lot of money. He's really highly valued at Forest. Like, really highly valued.
I reckon someone will take a punt at Olaina though.
Yeah. So basically we've just talked about a rebuild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound so bad? Like, listening to what we've just said and the players, and like, does it sound like we'd be a million miles off winning the league if we bought those players and put them into our team?
I'll be honest, if Salah, like I mentioned, if Salah, Virgil and Trent leave, and we brought those players in,
the Trent things regardless. Like, I don't think we drop off with Trent leaving. I really don't.
Yeah, because you can replace him with a good conventional right back. Let's just say
he didn't get the minerals out of Trent when he played him anyway. So
yeah, okay, let's just exclude Trent for a minute. But if we lose Salah and Virgil, and we were to do a rebuild. And then on top of the players that you said that you think that will leave, and the ones that you think will replace them to come in, it will take I reckon it will take 2 or 3 years for us to compete again for the league.
Really?
Because they're players that have potential to be world class or to be ready made, but they're not ready made players yet.
Well, then this is where. So this is what my thinking that's why I think we could still be top 3 and potentially in and around the cups again, is because we'd be replacing. Okay, so we lose Virgil. Yeah, Virgil's a big loss, absolutely. Yeah. But you still got a world class Canate, by the way. And if you're putting a top centre back,
his contract,
but you're putting a top centre back next to him, yeah, and Canate becomes more senior in the squad, like, which could potentially push him to sign a new contract, by the way, because he's not in Virgil's shadow, basically. Then you might get more out of Canate because he feels more confident in his own shoes, and he also might get moved over to the left-hand side. You just don't know. Like in a weird way, Virgil actually plays on the right-hand side, But like he should play on the right hand side, Virgil, because he's a right-footed centre back. Like he should play on the right hand side, but he doesn't.
But you know why he plays on the left though? Because
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Canate might want to play on the left hand side. So Canate might actually be better on the left hand side, and we don't know because we've never experienced Canate on the
left hand side for France. Or
I think he does, mate. I think he does. Anyway, that's regardless. I'm just pointing something out. So Canate is then the main man at the back, and the controller and the dominator, and he might be the stopper or the cover. I don't know. Like it depends how Slot wants to play that. And then we sign a top centre back. Like say we get Slotterbeck. I'm more than happy with Slotterbeck or Lukeba.
Yeah,
you've now got 2 French internationals who could be, I don't know, for like the next 5 years, whatever. Or you've then got 2 top class German and French centre backs. Is there going to be so much of a drop off? I don't think we're going to concede many more goals. Even if you put Gomez in there, will we concede many more goals with Canate back there? I don't know about that. The right hand side,
we're going to need somebody who's gone. Yeah.
So the right hand side, you're going to replace a gap that's always been there, like defensively. Like there's always been an issue with the right hand side defensively for a number of years. He's going to rectify that by either having Bradley do more defensive work, or he goes and gets a really defensive minded right back and just spends a lot of money on it. Who knows? I don't know how that works. The left back, we all know that's going to be better. It can't be any worse. It can't be any worse. So you're going to improve the left back position anyway. So the back 4, 5, I don't think there's going to be a huge drop off. Like we mightn't even concede as many goals because we will play a little bit more defensive because we haven't got Virgil. That might actually help us. Yeah. And then if you're getting a defensive midfielder who is naturally a defensive midfielder, so say you get a Stiller, or say you go and get, I don't know, we named a few players, didn't we? Say we go and get a Tchouameni or a Camavinga. Who knows? You got a more defensive midfield there. You got a less attacking right side, which the defensive midfield can cover more the threats coming forward. And then if you look at the front line, well, surely we'll score more goals because we haven't got the dross that currently plays up front. I know we lose a lot off Salah. I get that. But that will be spread across the front of the team because we don't have the 9 doing any goals. We very rarely have the 10 getting any goals or the left side getting any goals. So you replace 20 at the front, 10 on the sides.
By the way, we missed the player for the forward line.
You got Mo's numbers.
We missed the player that I think we could get on the forward line. Ryan Shirky.
Oh, we forgot about Ryan Shirky. He could be your data signing.
Oh, he's so good.
He could be your data signing in the midfield because he plays midfield and he plays wing.
If Elliott goes, he comes in. That's an instant upgrade.
He could be the right-sided or the left-sided winger that rotates.
More right-sided,
or even the 10.
Left-sided, yeah.
Or even the 10.
Right-sided with the 10, yeah.
He could be that guy. So then that's your 7 players. You've got to be quite excited with that still.
I mean,
you have to be. Say we go and get a Belieber. Yeah. Say we're going to get a Belieber in midfield. He's like having 2 players in midfield. He's just he's a demon.
He's a good player. He is a good player. I will say he is a good player.
So you're going to get a Belieber in your midfield. Like that's an upgrade. We haven't got another player that does that in midfield. You're basically replacing a skill set which we haven't got in midfield. We've got a guy
I think
that
we do have it
can
in
do it.
midfield, but that player's not good enough to be a regular.
We've got a guy that can do it, but
He's
he
not
can't-
quality.
he can't do it naturally. Like he's so. I mean, I've got to be honest. Like I'm pretty optimistic. Like pretty optimistic that we could still be there or thereabouts. Like maybe we wouldn't dominate the league like we are now. We were 12 points clear. Like I think we'll probably win the league by 15 points this season, if I'm honest. I think it'll be more than 15. Like genuinely honest.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm.
I think it's doable.
It could be double-digit points, or it could drop to maybe like 9.
I think we could actually win the league at Leicester, if I'm honest.
What game is that? What number?
I think it's 4 games away.
4 games away. Okay.
Yeah, because I think Arsenal got Fulham away, and they've also got Everton away, like proper bogey teams for them.
Yeah, the Everton away is not going to be easy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, they got Fulham at home. They could draw that. They could draw that easy. We've got Everton away. We've got Everton at home. We've got Fulham away. Like, I can't see us losing. But even if we don't win, we still draw, which is still points. As long as you keep on getting points, then there's nothing they can do.
And I don't trust Arsenal to not drop any more points either. So regardless, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and the Tottenham game as well. Everyone talks about a Tottenham game. Tottenham might be more focused on the cup. Like they could be getting through to like the Europa League, like semi-final or final or whatever. So
yeah, Tottenham ain't really got anything to play for in the league. I'll be honest.
No.
So
and then you're gonna have what? Who else have you got? Leicester could be relegated by then. By the way, Leicester could be relegated like when we play them. Right, so they'll have nothing to play for because they'll be down. So Fulham could be on holiday. You just don't know. Like,
and I think we play Arsenal third to last game of the season.
Yeah, I think the league's over before then, mate. I think the league's over before then. We've got Tottenham.
If we do what we're supposed to do, then yes, it should be.
We've got West Ham at home as well. Like seriously, like West Ham will have nothing to play for.
We should wipe the floor with them, to be honest.
They'll have nothing to play for. Like there's loads of teams that won't have anything to play for. Like they'll be like in limbo. It's like, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm out of here. I've been waffling on for ages. It's been great to have you on, Gags, mate.
No worries, man. I'll hope you catch you as well, man. Yeah, you too, man.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Catch you in a bit. Bye.
See you later. Big up everyone who's tuned in. We've had like over 100, 150, 200 of you in all night. Fantastic stuff. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. Always good to have you on here. Hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. So the next time I do a live, you'll hear about it straight away. Also, massive thanks to Dom for pushing everyone in here. And I'm glad you've stayed. And I hope I kind of gave you a bit of optimism with next season, even if we do lose Mo and Virgil. And we kind of went through the team that we'd like, the players that we'd like to sign. I also went through a bit of the news, some of the links, and all the people that joined in. Paul and Gags, good to have you on here. I will do another. I'll do another call in next week. See what's happened. Obviously, we'd have had the Everton game by then as well. I also want to let you know as well that I'm on the football terrace next week. Before the Everton game, I think, or after the Everton game. So if you can tune into that, that'd be great. I will post an update on my channel for when I'm on that. It's a big deal going on the football terrace. So big up Terry for reaching out and getting me involved. Really appreciate that. And I will catch up with you all soon. And I hope you have the rest of your weekend is good. And up the Reds. See you later.